Once we have seen how to pass information without using view models, let's see how we can pass information using view models. To do this, let's create in the MVVM folder the view models folder. As part of the folder, let's create a couple of classes. The first class is called Start Page View Model. Let's create a second class called Page2 View Model. In this first view model, let's create a property that is of type string and is called name. We specify its get and set. We copy the property because we want to have the same property for page 2. The idea then is that we can work with these properties and make a binding to be able to use each of them from your graphical user interface code. To make the view models work correctly, let's go to the code behind of each of the pages. We go first to the startpage.xaml.cs file, and from the constructor we're going to assign to binding context a new instance of start page view model. We have to import the namespace that is needed. Once we have assigned the binding context, let's go to the startpage.xaml file and let's create a binding in the text property of this entry control to the property in the view model. Let's remove the name. We can also remove the placeholder and indicate that the text property is going to be a binding to the property called name. With this, we have created a binding from the view model to the graphical interface. Next, from the code behind, we have to create a new instance of page 2, but fill the information of the binding context of the new page with the information that we obtain from the source page. How can we do this? Well, let's modify this line of the event handler, and instead of passing the string, let's initialize the binding context of the page. Here we can assign a value to the binding context of the page we are creating. In our case, what we're going to do is to obtain the view model of the page in which we are to obtain the data we are interested in. We could carry out the creation of an instance of start page view model at the class level, but I want to show you how to obtain access to the view model of a page in case you need it in some occasion. We're going to declare a variable called current view model, which is equal to, and we have to perform a conversion from the binding context to the specific type of the view model that you are interested in or that is being used. In our case, the data type we are interested in is start view model, so we have to perform the conversion of the binding context. In this way, we obtain the reference of the binding context and we already have access to its properties, as for example, the name property, which is part of this view model. Let's indicate that we want to obtain the value of the name of the view model. You could use some additional property, or you could use the whole object, according to what you need. As part of the binding context, when we create page number 2, we're going to indicate that we want to create a new instance of page 2 view model. We can fill in the information of the view model, in this case the name property, and we're going to assign it the value of current view model, which is actually the value of the name property. This way, when the new page is created, it is going to have a view model assigned to its binding context property. The next thing we have to do is to go to the destination page, which in this case is page2.xaml, and we're going to assign to the entry control a text with a binding to the name property, which is part of the view model created. With this that we have done, the only thing that is pending is to return to the page2.xaml.cs file and remove the assignment that we have done in the previous video. In fact, we can comment the second constructor so you can see that everything works correctly. Let's start running the application to see how it behaves. Let's write a value in the entry control. Let's go to page 2 and see how this time the value is already being displayed, but using a view model. This is how we can pass values using view models. For now, we're going to continue passing values in this way, but later we're going to see how to use different frameworks that are going to help us to navigate between pages from the view models in a simple way.